Hello guys, and welcome back to Strategic Command World War II World at War with our first PvP against SirTravis. In the last episode, we looked at his turn coming into August. We're almost through 1941. The American oil embargo of Japan has begun, meaning we are running out of time in terms of keeping America out of the war. We've had tons of other activity from him, a lot of which we've responded to being over here by Italy, a very active front, but we wiped out an entire British army this turn and dealt a good amount of damage elsewhere as well. The rest you can see in the last episode if you haven't already. We have a lot of stuff to do still. 96 MPPs remaining as Italy, but I believe our turn is basically done with them. I want to save those MPPs, but the lion's share of what Germany and Japan have to do is still in front of us. As per usual, we want to get at least one bit of research going as Germany here, and I have a lot of options, but the one I'm going to go with I think is going to be anti-air defense. It's a very general thing. It's pretty cheap to get going, and it's something that we definitely need. I've already spent on reinforcing over here in Finland, making sure we're up to snuff. He's letting me entrench here. He's not moving that mechanized any further. So we've stopped his advance there. I believe we have, the 2 Finnish corps being pumped out. All I can get is another HQ or another garrison. I'm not sure either's necessary. A garrison up here wouldn't be too bad, but we have a lot of other needs that need to be handled first. We've already done our rocket attacks. We can get some elite reinforcements on this Coast Guard sub. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm really surprised he hasn't hit me with a destroyer here yet. I've just been sitting around here, and I know he has destroyers in the area. He's attacked me with them already, and I've seen, thanks to the spies, confidently that he has a destroyer, at least one, right around here. I don't know what he's doing with them. It's very confusing. I am absolutely fascinated by the fact that he took such an aggressive response up here on the road to Moscow, which is what I initially expected from him, rather than, you know, what appeared to be a focus down here. But then down here, he did almost nothing. He still has weakened units on the front that I could definitely kill this turn no matter what. Wow, look at that difference. Is that the difference that one supply and one elite reinforcement makes in attacking a unit? 1 versus 5? That's crazy. But he also didn't retreat down here. Even though I've completely gotten past him, he decided to hold his line. I'm really surprised by that, because that means I get a lot of easy damage that I can do. Though our bombers here are fairly fucked up at this point. We got a lot of injured medium bombers and an injured tactical bomber. We only have one functional bomber that can really do anything this turn, and that's this bomber right here. So the bombers might not get to see a whole lot, but there's still clearly a lot of damage that we can do this turn even without air support. I think this will definitely just be a plain overhauling turn for down here. So let's reinforce these tactical bombers as well as both of the medium bombers, get them better up to snuff. And then I could attack with these bombers right here, but I don't see that it's entirely necessary. So I'm just going to put some elite reinforcements on them. I can also upgrade them, but I want the elite reinforcements more than anything. 349 MPs remaining. We've almost spent half between focusing on Finland, upgrading that one submarine, and then taking care of most upgrades and reinforcements, the most expensive ones, on this southern front. We also have a similar situation with 2 planes here, actually 3, 2 tactical bombers and lowland lurkers. Maybe there's some way we could use the remaining 2 tactical bombers. Definitely want to reinforce the lowland lurker fighters. That was something I intended to do already. He was way more aggressive, as I was saying before. We could do a lot of damage to what he has up here on this front. That's definitely possible. This unit is a little too far forward flung to really say the same thing. We could get somehow some damage on this enemy core, but then that's about it, and that's not entirely worth it. Even though it's one of the hardest targets to hit in the area, I think this tank is really one of the biggest deals. It's what's sitting on this town it's trying to entrench, and it is a target that we can hit with our tactical bombers. And maybe I even want to use some of these other injured ones. In fact, who knows? This one's not really in range of anything, this Africa tactical bomber. I might just upgrade this one rather than even reinforcement. Give it some long-range aircraft finally. That could definitely do. Yeah, that would be pretty decent, I think. The other one, I'm not so sure about. But this one, yeah, not in range of anything except, like, this core. Which it may be wise to hit. I don't know. But as easy as it is to hit this core, and as much damage as we could do to this army, in fact, this tank is one of the most important targets. And also, sort of one of the easiest to hit from the air. It's not as difficult to hit as this army is from the air. And it's not even upgraded. It's a tank that's not upgraded. And that's a big deal. So, I'm going to pick this as my target. We're going to start right here. The first tactical bombers. We dealt 2 damage. It's 1 more than expected. That's really good. So now its readiness and morale's kind of getting fucked. The odds are getting better for a forward assault. This is still my best target. Now I can do it without the projected losses with these 3rd tactical bombers. We're going to try that. He's got no defenses in the area. We dealt 2 damage. We're really winning these rolls right now. Holy shit. All right, well, we could take the 14th army and we have a chance at finishing this tank off in 1 hit. Let's see. We did it. An entire red tank has just been blown up. And now this army, which is injured, unfortunately, can move forward and take the town. Though I don't know if I want an injured army moving in and taking Smolensk, somewhere that I can see will not be able to recover next turn. Maybe a core would be better for that. Ideally, a core that's already upgraded. There's a lot of little movements and stuff that's going to be difficult to allocate here, but there's still more damage that we could squeeze out because we only used 1 forward attack. We do still have the 2 injured tactical bombers, which with his lack of defenses, we could definitely get some more damage in, namely wiping out an entire core potentially. Okay, so here's one thing I'm gonna do. We're gonna take this recon. I intended to kind of go out here because I thought this way would be clear and that this way would be more defended, since he was also, you know, he has Leningrad active. I thought he would defend that front more. I didn't think he would abandon it. So we're going to send our recon up, secure this town, and take a good look at the surrounding region. So we can see that it's pretty much clear around here by Polotsk. And given that he's abandoning up here, this could mean a couple things. It could mean that he has forces right around Leningrad, so he's not scared. And it could mean that he has nothing up there. And, you know, what I think is that he has not a lot up here. And I think, so he's not going to invade the Baltics, I'm pretty confident. So the Baltics will stay neutral. And so I think I can advance up in this direction pretty easily without very much getting in my way. So we see that recon. This HQ is just out in the fucking open, man. It's just out in the open and it makes me want to go curb stomp it with something, except for the fact that I don't really have supply in this area very much. We'll do a little bit of another recon first while I figure everything else out. We're going to take this core right here. We're going to move up into this swamp with 2 there. We should see, yes, that he does have a core on Pskov. Naturally, he's just trying to block the way. The terrain around is pretty advantageous for stopping us from getting around behind him. Just wanted to check that. This guy was never going to go over to the east for anything, so I wanted to see what he had here. I don't know that I want to advance up this way at the same time. I don't quite know that I have enough troops to do that, even with as many troops as I have. Like, I already don't have enough HQs for this many troops. And then, I can't imagine splitting this up even further to try to go connect with Finland. And Finland's kind of holding off by itself until the line forms up to be a little bit better and we break through most of his other troops. Well, I'm going to take this 3rd army. We're going to attack this core right here, dealing the 5 expected damage and taking no damage, opening up a little bit of a marsh here. The marsh that makes them vulnerable to air and whatnot, yeah. That allows me to move the 3rd army onto Smolensk instead of the injured 14th army, which can probably just stay where it is, but I'm still not sure if even that's useful. We're definitely going to upgrade these panzer tanks to be advanced so that they can contribute a bit more on the front. Then we have a couple more options. This 8th army is definitely getting reinforced. I'm not going to be moving that anywhere anytime too soon. He's got another corps in the marsh over here. He's got this HQ way the fuck over here. He's got a cavalry corps in the back. A lot of his units from the eastern front, he moved here. The guards, heavy tanks, 1st Red Banner Army. This all came from the east. So he's reinforcing the Moscow front with the units from Siberia. So he has found them, he has moved them, and this is where he sent them. Meaning, this probably was mostly undefended shortly ago. The Africa Corps tank is going to move up here, and we're gonna just go blitz attack this HQ. Damage to HQs is tremendous. Even if we take any damage, it won't matter. Hurting an HQ is an insanely valuable thing. Now, Von Runstedt here, he's gonna move right over here. Right there. Bounce some supply up. Still only 4 way the hell up here, unfortunately. But better than nothing, given the current circumstances. We might want to do some more moving around sooner or later. I still need more HQs. 294 MPPs, that's not enough to buy another HQ, and we still have so much more to do. Even if it may not be the best thing to do, I want to make a strong show of force up front. So we're going to send this army forward. It's not going to have any time to reinforce, but that's fine. We're going to send it forward to back this army up, because we're going to leave this army here is what we're going to do. And then we're going to move back this corps, one of these corps. One of these corps, this is going to replace this, and then Frontier one's just gonna go get to safety, which could be anywhere here, really, but I guess I'll pick right here just for now, because we're gonna back it up. So we're gonna send the second corps that was up on this front. It's gonna go down here now to shore up that on the other side of the river. Might lure the heavy guards tanks in. It's not really the goal. I know I'm leaving this a little weak. It's semi-intentional. It's just that I don't see it. I don't see that we really need to do anything else. So I'm going to reinforce the Africa Tactical Bomber. I'm going to reinforce these Tactical Bombers. Not going to have them do anything for right now, not while they're injured. We could do some moving up with these other Tactical Bombers. Let's say one go right here. And the other, I'm not even sure if moving up from here is even a good idea. And I really am burning through MPPs, man. I really, really am. I haven't gotten to buy any new garrisons in a while. Do we need any garrisons where we've moved up from? We might very soon. For right now, this corps is gonna just take a step back. You're gonna sit right there and defend, but I plan to replace you probably with this Africa anti-tank soon, but that's gonna need a reinforcement. 62 MPPs, that's a lot. That's a lot. Don't forget, 42's coming up, and I still need to be able to do my, my preparations, because I need naval ships that are gonna take forever to build if I want any hope of taking the British Isles. Do we need the ships? No. We don't need them. But our Air Force is sort of capped out in a lot of ways. We're out of tactical bombers we can make. We still haven't made the maritime bomber either. There's just so many things I have to do. There's so many things I have to do. We're going to upgrade this corps right here. I could give it mobility. I wasn't usually handing that out, but they could benefit from this eventually. Might as well right now. We have 45 MPPs on it. Sure. Sure, why not? U2 right here. This corps, infantry, mobility. Get that up, because then you can replace this, and then this guy can upgrade. We're still trying to funnel in a lot of these upgrades that we just simply were not able to get prior. 158 MPPs remaining. I need to become more and more careful about what I do with Germany. Germany has a lot of stuff going on. Namely, he finally moved far enough away from Baghdad. Sure, he has 2 units here, and I don't even know if he understands that he needs that second unit for anything to try to convince a surrender, but I'm still going to use this as my opportunity. I'm going to fully upgrade this garrison, 38 MPPs. The oil has given me way more than 38. Even if he finally took Abadan, which he did focus on doing, I still have Kirkuk, that's 15 MPPs a turn, plus 5 from Baghdad. And so I've been earning this, right? Anything I could do to make Iraq hold on longer means more oil flowing into my hands and not his. Now, let's try moving some of the ships here. Ooh. We haven't done this in a while. We're gonna go up, 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 up. Just up, 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 just like that. Because we need someone to start raiding the UK USSR line, which I'm sure he's utilizing. I'm sure he is. I don't know why he wouldn't be. This is upgraded. This still needs to be upgraded. So let's go ahead and replace this. No elite reinforcements, because we can't do that at this port, but just getting those advanced subs upgrades in while we just continue to raid his little convoy lines, kind of keeping us as prepared as possible in case he shows up with any of his ships. We still have to move this one. I'm really nervous about moving this one, because I know he has stuff somewhere around here. I'm trying to think of just all the activity I've seen. I don't know what his strategy is, man, with these ships that he has in the Atlantic. I really can't figure it out. I think it's just, it's like I feel like he's using his ships as submarines. He's just placing them, scattering them, and trying to make me come to him. It makes the whole, like, I remember I received advice against the AI of, like, don't leave a submarine in one spot. That's a bad idea, because leaving the submarine in one spot means that it will just get intercepted. But I feel like I have to leave it in one spot for him, because he doesn't run up to me to fight me. He stays around me and tries to intercept me. It's actually quite frustrating, especially when I have to keep going back to, you know, resupply and such. I don't know if this path is safe or not. I don't know, but I'm gonna go in mostly a straight line. Just force sail out there, and thankfully didn't run into any. He's not gonna be able to raid from there, but it's in a pretty decent spot, so we can go hopefully more in this direction where I feel like he has less ships next turn. I don't know. And then what if we tried to get this one back, just going in a straight line? I feel like that wouldn't work out. I feel like that wouldn't work out fucking at all. No. What if we just go straight south? Alright, well that works. So we just raid this for this turn, because you got 6 supplies, so I want to get him moving back to get some supplies. He's left these straight lines open. Don't know if that's intentional or not. We'll raid here, and then we'll try to get back for some supply soon. Actually, this is in supply, so this kind of counts as a resupply, probably. That would be good if that ends up resupplying. I know he has ships. I don't know where they are, man. I need my spies to start spotting ships for me. It would be nice if I could give them priorities. Only 120 MPPs left. I haven't even started on some other important things, namely going after this mechanized, which, you know, with the line breaker tanks, it's the only real option. So let's go ahead and do it. We're supposed to deal 5 damage. We dealt 6 successfully, which is more, and we actually took no damage. Wow. And then down here, which is a bit of a mess, but we have to be on the offensive. We just have to. We're going to attack with the 1st Romanian army, dealing only 3 damage, taking 1. We didn't really do well on that roll, but now the 2nd army here has a better chance, dealing 5 damage, but taking 2. All right, the rolls are not quite favoring us down here, unfortunately. There's a couple ways to go about this, and that's to, like, move in, say, this corps or something, or just use the Romanian army. But the Romanian army, the Hungarian army, sorry, is going to take some damage that I don't necessarily want to take. I could try to swap him out there, but I have no guarantee that that's even going to look good, and there's no way to simulate that and guesstimate that percentage, unfortunately, so we're just going to try to use this, wipe it out. So we took all 10 strength away from that core. We lost 3 damage on armies in exchange for it. I'd say that was probably worth it. I know, because he's told me directly that his morale is at an all-time low right now, but dude, even while fighting what he has here, I've seen both sides of this kind of game now, and this is my 2nd time playing the Axis. I feel like I don't have enough troops. I feel stretched thin, and I'm sure he doesn't think that I feel that way. He probably thinks that I feel amazing because in his eyes, I'm destroying him. That's how he feels. He feels like he's losing left and right. Move these blue tanks forward. But honestly, man, I don't feel that way at all. I feel like I'm stretched thin and doing everything I can just to break through. And I feel like MPPs for Germany have been so stretched thin for a while now. Buying those Finnish cores sure didn't help. But what was I supposed to do? Give up Finland? No, of course not. So it's taking everything for me to actually make this work. That's something I can't tell him, not even to bolster his enthusiasm for the game, though. We took 1 damage, dealt 2, dealt 3 damage, took a damage, only 1 initially. We weren't supposed to take any, so it's unfortunate that we took any, but yeah. Oh man, so many things I want to do. I gotta upgrade this core. I don't have money for all this shit, man. I don't have money for all this shit anymore. So we're gonna have to move some things that I wouldn't otherwise want to move in the way that I'm planning to move them. Does that make sense? Well, hopefully it makes sense. There's so many things I just don't want to do here. There's so many things. All right, we're gonna move the 5th Corps forward. I wasn't planning on doing this, but we are officially across the river. We're gonna move the 1st Army up behind them onto Cherkasy. This anti-air is the reason why I'm doing this. Primarily. So we're going to take a blitz attack, dealing 4 damage against this anti-air, taking no damage and causing it to retreat. I can see Konotop has nobody on it. That's also quite interesting then. Because I could probably break through and take Konotop with the line breaker tanks. However, that would be an insane thing to do, because he could easily cut that off. But to cut it off fully, really, he'd have to do some shenanigans, some stuff. All right, I'm gonna take a bit of a risk. Okay, we're gonna send the 4th Army forward. There you go, 4th Army forward. We could see definitely nothing around here. Okay. Then we're gonna move the line breaker tanks forward. We're gonna finish off that anti-air. It's dead now. It's dead. We got the line breaker tanks forward. We've seized Konotop. Now, I'm gonna secure Kiev by moving this unupgraded core into its place. This leaves this kind of open. So I'm gonna force march the Africa Corps, even if it's injured, into this defensive position. Because it's 2 tiles away, he won't know the actual strength of this. He'll just see another core advancing. He doesn't know that any of these are here definitively without seeing an airstrike or without moving up. But his way is effectively blocked, and if he does move up, he'll be surrounded and out of his fortification, so I don't think he'll do that. I think he'll stay there or move north is what I think he'll do. He'll probably just stay there. This guy is surrounded. He's encircled. He's not in a good position. This requires some real stretching to make work. My supply is not going to be that great up here. Konotop's kind of going to be the supply point right there. But even then, it's mostly just coming from Zhytomyr. So supply is not going to be great, but I have secured along this river up to Konotop with pretty healthy and strong units. He's going to have to pull from up here to stop me, or he's going to have to see, oh, this is bad, and move from over here. Either way, I've broken through, and now he has to do something to stop me, or he's going to get encircled and outflanked. So having this core across the river doesn't mean anything anymore, because if he stays here and attacks it, he's going to get outflanked. His fortifications, his entrenchments, they're going to mean nothing. If he moves away, then we have essentially just secured this breaking point, and we don't have to worry about anything else. This isn't, well, it kind of is a breakthrough to hurt him, but it's also just to try to break his idea of holding this front, because if he starts moving, that's great. I could catch some of his fleeing units and fuck him up. He's dedicating the eastern units to the Moscow front, which they're enough to hurt me, but not enough to stop me. And so this gives me, hopefully, a capacity to do quite a lot here. And we really want to make it sink in. So we're going to try to attack the 1st Hungarian army across the river, this injured enemy core here, dealing 4 damage, taking 1 damage. That's a trade I'm willing to make. Yeah, because now that's even more injured. So he's going to feel like this whole line is collapsing. At least that's what I'm trying to instill in him. Especially now that he's dedicated more up here. I'm going to leave everything else up here where it is, except for this bomber. I'm going to move forward, and the Africa fighters probably going to move forward. Don't know how far. Maybe up to the river here. Africa fighters. We have 2 fighters. Yeah. This one is a little far back, but it covers everything up to here. So this one has to be the more forward-facing one. Let's say to right about here. Yeah, that covers everybody on the front pretty well. And then we still have 120 PvP to spend. We're not reinforcing anything down here because we've kind of given up that opportunity. A lot of the upgrades can't really be done, so reinforcing the Africa anti-tank is definitely more doable. So I'm going to do that because it's a unit that I could leave in my rear as kind of a defensive fixture, even if it's not meant for fighting infantry. As a defensive fixture, it could hold something like Politosk just fine, or if he moves his tanks up somewhere, then I could respond with the anti-tank as well. It just really depends what he does. Up in Finland, we're probably going to try to stay a little bit on the offensive because his troops are limited here. He's not reinforcing. He's clearly dedicating his MPPs to other things. We need to continue to strain him. So we're going to arty that army some more. I don't even know if it got used defensively. I don't think it did because I think I was just using all the shells. So we're trying to hurt this army as much as possible. The one on Viipuri. Make him pay for taking that. 1-4 against an army? Yeah, dude. Well, we took 1, we dealt 3. Plus 1 with the artillery. Still, it's down to 2. He's not attacking with that. He might attack with this, but he's going up against odds that are not going to work out for him. His bombers can't do anything with these fighters here. So I think that works out pretty well for me. With 58 MPPs remaining, I know what I need the most is Germany right now. It's going to be more garrisons. So I'm going to purchase a normal German garrison here. Let's give this one a security name. Yeah, sure. I plan to have it do some security things. So let's give it a security name. Eventually, I want to get these Bulgarian garrisons out of here and more on the front. So maybe this Romanian garrison will replace the Bulgarian one here. We'll need a Hungarian one eventually too. if I'm having them defend their own capitals, that is. So we could forward deploy just these Bulgarian ones. But even that is going to take hundreds of MPPs to get this many garrisons rolling, and I've been neglecting getting garrisons rolling, so let's just put, 45 MPPs into it right now. I think that's all the MPPs I plan on spending. We have a little bit more. We could reinforce this paratrooper. That seems decent enough. That's only 10 MPPs. It's kind of on a front, so it does matter. It's what stops him from doing anything crazy around here. I think he's definitely figured out that Sea Lion's not happening by now. But Japan, he actually put me in a bit of an unfortunate situation with how he's kind of left Chungking. I either need to take multiple turns to push up against Chungking, surround it before pushing through, or I have to deal with the fact that he has an anti-air here. Either way, it's not that great. However, I have anti-air, and so I am aware of how much they can actually respond. With one upgrade, they can respond twice. I don't think he has the upgrades. Regardless, I need to do something to weaken this. It's at entrenchment level 6. This is his capital, and he's left it mostly undefended. So I can either try to push through the mountains where I can't even stand. There's no way to make supply work like that. Or try to weaken this zone of control, slip some units across, things like that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start with the medium bombers. Can't stop that anti-air. It's fine. We didn't take any damage. We didn't deal any damage. But we have lowered the entrenchment. We have lowered the morale. This bomber would just get fucked if this bomber tried to do anything. Doesn't even have enough supply where he is. Yeah, you gotta get moved. You're not in a good spot, sir. Follow up with the naval flotilla tactical bombers, hoping for the best. Yeah, he can intercept twice. These are my elite planes, so they didn't take any damage. They definitely lowered that readiness and morale to the point where we can actually deal damage now with my forward land forces. This core here, not as important, but we'll deal with it when we deal with it. So we're going to try to just deal what damage we can with the Central Expedition Army. We dealt 2 damage, getting rid of his elite reinforcement. Hell fucking yes. It is also possible to try to deal some damage here, so we'll try with the weaker off tactical bombers to bomb that. Dealing no damage, taking no damage, but weakening him notably. Move these tactical bombers over here onto the road where they will have much better supply. We can then try to hurt this using the 34th Army. So we are successfully injuring his entire front, which is fantastic. Up north, we'll use the 5th Corps to attack this enemy garrison, try to weaken it. We dealt 2 damage, we took 1. That is not really the best result, but it is a result. 17th Army can move forward past the zones of control into position here. But that's not enough to actually do any amazing damage or anything. The 3rd Army can move past Chengchao. Holy mother of that's a lot of HQs. Let's go ahead and attack with that army, wiping out the enemies at Chengchao. There you go. We unfortunately took 2 damage as well. We'll move this corps up to Chengchao. We will use it to swap a proper army onto Chengchao so that we can hold it. This army is a little bit forward. It's a little bit on its own, but it's in supply. It is in supply, which is good. And then I have a couple choices on how to move up from there, given that he has armies and stuff staring at me from the other side of the river. I don't necessarily want to meet him on that side of the river, but I would like to delete his fortifications. I've already deleted these, if there were any here, so I'm going to move over, delete these as well. We're not actually trying to attack, just weaken his overall footing in the area. I'll move the Indochina Expedition Army right here along the front. We will reinforce this corps that's right there. We're going to move up the 13th Army, and then we'll force march into position this artillery to be more of a defensive fixture for these 2 armies, scare him from doing any attacks there. We'll go ahead and attack this corps again. Fuck the army, we'll just attack the corps. 4 more damage that he then has to repair, which I know is something that he's probably not looking forward to doing. Japan has to get all kinds of stuff moving around, like this transport for this garrison right here has to get popped out. It's going to go right over here to Fuchao, which means we'll go ahead and move this garrison, force march it all the way up there, so we can send the one at Nanchang, or just the one at Fuchao. No, Nanchang specifically to cover right here. Fuchao up to Nanchang, land this garrison at Fuchao to take over the position of that one. Looking at where we could use another army in the short term, up north is definitely where, we won't have to worry too much about anything else until America joins, which we are definitely successfully delaying. Drop the 14th Army off up here. Game wants to interrupt me by autosaving. The Zuikaku is good to go, ready to go. We can go ahead and just spit that out somewhere at a home port specifically, I guess. So we might want to move one of these other guys. The Hiryu, we'll get that going out of its port. Also a garrison, which we'll put right there. Zuikaku, put right there. Paratroopers put right there, so we can get both of those transported off next turn. This army can already move up a little bit. That sounds good. I'm not really sure what to do with this artillery for now, to be honest. But I'm thinking of getting them both moving up here for like this as a little front. Two armies up here seems like it would be pretty good, so we'll move it up north for now. Move it up north. Follow along with that army, and that should work out pretty well. We can do some more research as Japan. Anti-air level 1 is done, so let's go ahead and research anti-air level 2, and I think that's roughly what we're replacing. 171 MPPs remaining as Japan. I think we're in a decent position to start getting things moving into generally the correct area, so I'm gonna send down a submarine, just this one submarine, all the way down past the Marshall Islands to the front. We're going to get the Hiryu just moved down here for right now. We're not setting it up that preemptively. It's not like the same thing I did last time. It's just a little bit of preemptiveness here. Send the Zuiho down here, keeping them in ports, but right next to each other in pretty decent spots. We have another sub that's capable of moving down. We'll probably send that right over here. Let those subs move forward. They don't need any elite reinforcements or anything. We have a DEI sub as well that's pretty much ready to head down at any point, so we'll send the DEI sub down. There are so many naval upgrades and improvements we need to do right now. Like the Soryu carrier doesn't have any upgrades at all, so that's going to be expensive. Let's give it all of its upgrades. That's half of our MPPs that were available. The Akagi carrier. The carriers are really the focus here, because they're the ones that are going to bomb the shit out of Pearl Harbor. So we have 66 MPPs remaining. I've spent everything else I care to spend. We're not going balls deep into China now that the oil embargo started. Now we're really, really pushing the preparations. And so there's also these DEI ships. Give that some anti-air. Reinforce this one. That's only 4. We can't get that up to max right now. We don't need that to be ready either. So let's see. Can we fully upgrade something else over here? Anti-air for a battleship, easy. Anti-air for a battleship, easy. Anti-air for a battleship, can't afford that anymore. Let's move the Tun over to Busan and the Mogami over to Kyoto, because we need them to be ready to receive their upgrades. We're going to fully upgrade and then ship the ships eastwards. We're not going for a 41 Pearl Harbor, we're going for a 42 Pearl Harbor. So we still have plenty of time to split our resources, and so I'm going to continue to do that. Our MPPs are spent with pretty much everyone else. I don't see anything else that I want to do anywhere else. We do need to get these up to snuff eventually as well. We need to purchase DEI units to defend it, but I know he won't be on the offensive too quickly. We're going to end this turn. Chinese morale suffers the loss of Cheng Chao. Oil embargo hits Japanese morale. Yeah, we're going to be losing some morale. That's why I want to keep advancing. Take that capital. Capture Smolensk boosts Axis morale. Soviet morale falls as Smolensk falls. Better prepare for the war in Southeast Asia. Recommended we occupy the whole of French Indochina. Our approach will be to entice the French authorities to agree to a protocol concerning joint defense and military cooperation that will allow us to position troops in Indochina and use it as a base for offensive operations into Southeast Asia. Doing this will have less effect on US mobilization, 3 to 6%, than if we were to declare war in Indochina, 10 to 50%. Though doing so will cost us 25 MPPs, which is still, you know, dirt cheap. So, yes, without overthrowing French authorities, less diplomatic consequences. Yeah, of course. Yes, give me Indochina. Japan gains access to Indochina from the Vichy French authorities. There you have it. Indochina's mine. America's concerned they gain some mobilization, but it's nothing we need to worry about, especially not with what we are doing. Survivors from Cheng Chao reform their units in Xi'an, so he's getting new units. Survivors from Cheng Chao reform their units in Chongqing. Ooh, okay. And research is progressing. Amphibious warfare level 2 for Japan, perfectly timed. Logistics level 2 for Japan, perfectly timed. Awesome. So, 225, 69 additional, 165 at the end. MPPs, nice, nice. All looks good to me. Great, that's our turn. Well, we'll pass that back to him. We have a nice full, little over episode. Hope you guys have enjoyed it and are enjoying how this is going. And we will start the next episode with a brand new turn. So for now, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on that next episode.